Hi, I'm Kevin Shuker and welcome to HealthVOX. Today we're here on West 28th Street on a cold, wet day in New York City. We have some hot information about plants that can help you clean the air in your apartment. So we're coming to you from the House of Plants on 28th Street. Let's take a step inside and see what we've got. There are 4 things that feed and heal us: clean food, clean air, clean water, and light. Today we're bringing you information on nature's own naturally vibrant air purification systems. Why do we need clean air? Well, these days, with the increasing use of advanced adhesives and resins, we're being exposed to something called outgassing of toxic vapors. When you go into a furniture store, you may notice a particular odor. Well, that odor is the outgassing of formaldehyde. Children can be at increased potential risk, especially a newborn, because when a newborn comes home, they come back to a freshly painted room and furnishings and a new bed, and this can create an extremely toxic environment for a newborn baby. Even at work, poorly architecturally designed buildings have created hermetically sealed units that stagnate air and cause this stagnant air to be recycled through the building. Now, this has led to terms like sick building syndrome or building related illness. So what type of substances are we talking about? Well, they pretty much read like a chemistry class. We have substances like formaldehyde, xylene, toluene, benzene, trichloroethane, chloroform, ammonia, alcohols, and acetone. All these substances can cause allergies and health challenges. Now, as human beings, we also contribute to this toxic environment, for we release about 150 volatile vapors into the air. These are naturally occurring processes and they are termed bioeffluents. Now, in 1989, the EPA had a report which stated, sufficient evidence exists to conclude that indoor pollution represents a major portion of the public's exposure to air pollution and may pose serious risk in acute and chronic health. 40% of us have antibodies to the environmental toxins already in our body, and 20% have clinical allergenic disease. This figure is growing annually. Now, there are many products out there competing for us in order to keep our air clean. We have things like air filters, HEPA filters, air ionizers, ozonators, and ultraviolet cleaners. Each one of these has great selling points and are well worth investigating. But today, we're bringing you information on nature's own natural purification system. Beautiful, lush, green plants. So let's go back to Mike and let's see what plants we can use to keep our air clean. Here we are today in House of Plants. I'm here with the owner Mike, and Mike's going to show us some great plants that we can use to help clean the air in our apartments here. So we've got a few plants he's going to show us. The first one is the Areca Palm. So Mike, can you tell us a little bit about the Areca Palm?
Well, Areca Palm is a great and very popular plant for really all cleaning the air in apartments. Very easy to maintain and fairly fast-growing plant, and very popular now by the oldest demand. Very simple plant, very simple.
Does it prefer shade, or is it to be kept in the sunlight?
Well, that's another thing. They can really work in the both of them, really, in the shade or direct sunlight. And according to that conditions, you have to give them more or less water. And of course, if they have a direct sunlight, there's more water. shade with light to let them dry between watering. It's really easy to maintain.
And what would we look for in a healthy plant for somebody who might be seeing this plant for the first time?
Always apply the simple rule, look for a new growth in the plant. If you have a new growth in the plant doing fine, that's what you're looking for. You're not concerned for anything less little brown spots because the plant reproduces itself. So we're looking for new growth all the time, which is all we can see on the top of the plant.
Can we see it here? What would we look for? Could you point it out for us?
Right in here. See right those here? All the new growths coming up.
So it's the newer, smaller leaves. And those leaves are slightly, not so dark in color. They're a little bit lighter green.
When they come and grow the new growth, they're really light green because they're new, and then they lay down, they really turn darker. And again, if you really keep them in the shade, the whole thing will turn darker. On a bright light, the bright, they will turn lighter. Very interesting.
Excellent, great. So we're moving on here. We have the lady palm. So here we have the lady palm, and see it's a slightly different shaped leaf. Can you tell us a little bit about this plant?
Well, lady palm is a really common name. The original name for that is a Ficus palm, and Ficus come from the Middle East and Indonesia. It's really, really one of the best palms, the most interesting palm for inside. It has a very interesting character, and out of all, it's easiest to maintain it. Came really well in a shade area, whatever, like 10 to 15 days. Once a month you can spray them. That's just really all about.
Okay. And the same again, we'd look for new growth inside. Could we see that here? Where would we see a healthy palm?
Now in New Zealand, what grows here, we have a heavy trunk on the bottom, and new growth come right on the top. And here's again light the color of those right in the middle. Now the Ficus also build the trunk, and occasionally you have to cut his leaves down because it's getting taller and taller. But always look for the middle of the cane, what we call cane, for this new growth right here. That's the most important thing of this.
Great.
New growth, you have no problem.
Great, thank you. And now we're going to the bamboo palm. So here we are, we're getting down into the depths of the jungle here. Here we have a bamboo palm. So again, Mike, tell us a little bit about a bamboo palm.
Well, bamboo palm, we got two types of the bamboo palm, indoor and outdoor. This here particular one for indoor, excellent for air filtration, excellent for growth, one of the easiest to maintain them. Really, it's easy to maintain them. The only thing with this one, very slow grow. It costs a little bit more money. But maintenance-wise, condition when you're going to grow, it's very easy. Excellent. It's very popular because we believe in bamboo luck. So.
That's right. And this one is a full light, or is this one is shade?
Honestly, this one you can go in the closet, will do okay. It's such a strong double plant. As a tropical plant, a tropical bamboo, it's really, really incredible strong plant. We really use them a lot to offices where the owners don't even any lights, and just because of that, to take all this air pollution.
It's beautiful and very exotic. The bamboo makes me think of exotic places, and it grows very easy in all apartments. It would be very easy to grow, right?
Absolutely anywhere. It is very exotic. It's a bamboo. You can see the trunk. You know, in all time people used to use bamboo poles to fish and survive. It's got a multiple purpose. That's great. That's really great.
So now we're going to look at Dracaena, or it's sometimes called a Jenny Craig. So tell us, Mike, I've seen quite a lot of these in many people's apartments. This is a beautiful lush green plant. How would we care for this plant?
Well, Dracaena Jenica definitely doesn't like any water, almost. No spraying, no misting. Water every 10 to 15 days. Needs to be dry, really, between watering. Grows in a really shaded area. This one doesn't really want any direct sunlight, just the shades. Grows very, very slow. Come in all different sizes. Can have a really tall one, but it's very slow grow. So if you're picking any of Dracaena Jenny Craigs, make sure you take the size you need, because don't count on the growth. It's a very slow growing thing. But it's a good plant, good commercial plant, really strong plant.
Looking at the size of this plant here, how long would it take to grow into this size?
Well, this particular plant, about 3 feet tall in a 10-inch pot, it takes us about 3 years to grow that size. So really, as I said earlier, it's all according to the height of the ceiling you have in your apartment, but don't count on the growth too much in your apartment, because it's really, really slow growing thing. And when you put it in an apartment, it's even going slow, much slower. So take the size what you really need. I mean, you know, usually people take the plants as decor, and then stay. Well, we have a certain heights, so we do. That's what it is. But some of this size of 3 foot is the most used because that's what they like. Because it's good for the corners, good for the pedestals, good by the door, you know, and it's also tolerate cold too. So, really, to fill up the apartment and having just a lot of green, that's the one of them. Really, it's a very popular thing. Jenny Craig Dracaena.
Yeah, so Jenny Craig, even though it is slow growing, it would be great for anybody's apartment, especially if you have one of those small apartments with very little light. This is a great plant for you. So Mike, let's move on. We have the dwarf date palm. That sounds great. So here we are with a dwarf date palm, even though it doesn't look that dwarf here, Mike. So how big do these dwarf palms grow?
Well, that's why they call it dwarf, because it's really incredible slow-growing plant. It comes originally from all the tropics. Very, very slow-growing plant. Very slow. Needs more light than all these palms before. Needs a good light, but it's really tremendous, you know, upgrade in your apartment. Date palm Phoenix Rubellini. It's very been popular, and it's really, really romantic plants, especially when, you know, in any corners with the lights on top or above. It's really look dramatic.
And does this, even though it's a date palm, does it produce fruit?
It does, but it's not a date fruit. It's just a little dates on the side, and it's really seeds we're using to reproduce the plants. Calls the date more because it's really romantic. Believe me, chocolate this, it gives you all the feelings of the ocean and being in the ocean. As the tropical plants, comes really from South America, you know, where the paradise is.
And I see it has a great trunk on it here, very exotic looking. How about watering for this? Has this been your...
Watering is once a week with any size it is. They come all different sizes. With date palms come down from 3 foot up to 15, 20 feet high. It's very popular. We do a lot of parties, a lot of special events with that. We do a lot of rentals with them because people really like them. They're really huge, big plants. They're beautiful. Watering has to be moist all the time. They like to be mist and spray. They like the tropical moist.
Right. Okay. That's great. Thanks very much. And we have a favourite of mine, me being from England, we have the English ivy. So Mike, here we see some English ivy in some pots here. They're different colours. Is there something to look for in an English ivy?
Well, traditional English ivy, Kevin, you know, in England, every house in England has English ivy on the windows. So there's two types of ivies we really have to worry about: outdoor ivy and indoor ivy. Because in winter time, we would like to have also outside. And this one particular one is like this with the bigger leaves and dark green. It's outdoor. Smaller ones with the smaller leaves come in two different colors, variegated, with a little white in and yellow, also dark green. It's inside, indoor. Excellent. It takes every single dust in your house and puts them up to clean that oxygen. Also come in the hanging plants, and also we're making now very popular as a topiary. You know, like a little pom-pom things and look very different. It's very, very beautiful plant to have. It's really all traditional.
Do we have one here and as a hanging plant? Because that's what I recognize it as.
Absolutely.
Wow, it looks beautiful.
English ivy, yeah. Here's the one typical English ivy. Okay. Okay, I'm this one. You want this one? Okay.
You want to take it?
No.
You got it.
This one here? Okay. Well, this is an outdoor one, and this is an indoor one, small and bigger leaves. Those are really traditional in England. Ivies is all over the windows, and it's got a really must. Even now in America, we're using a lot of them. It's just really good plant. Likes to be moist, needs good light, needs really good light. Not necessarily direct sunlight, but also they love misting and spraying. So, because they work very hard for us. They're really like a filters on air pollutions. And we usually are saying, this is a solution to your indoor pollution, ivies. Make sure you spray them and mist them so that they can wash off and they're keep the clean leaves. They're doing fabulous.
And do these plants climb? Because I know some ivies climb up the wall and things like that. Or does this just hang?
They do climb. You can really train them either way you want. That's why they're famous too. You can really train them. You can trellises on the back. You can train them growing a pole. You can do really, and you know, it's just really, you can do really a lot of that.
Well, we all love the English ivy, so this is a great plant. So here we see, Mike, a beautiful row of, what do we call this plant?
Massingiana corn plant. very, very strong, excellent plant on all different sizes, easy to maintain it, very easy. This is the plant like carefree, really, honestly, and grows very slow, grows in any environment. Very popular plant, very popular.
I do see quite a few of these like on the street in New York City where people have let them die, and it seems like it's the most common plant that is thrown out. So how would we care for this plant? What is the watering, and how would we look after it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, that 99% what really happened with this is really little maintenance. But that little maintenance really means just no maintenance. It is always some little maintenance on it. Watering every 2 weeks. Size, when you get quarter water every 10 to 15 days, be okay. Why do we see them on the street? Well, we're using a lot of them as a commercial because really good plants. People really want to get new plants on it. They don't want to see them throwing them out. This particular plant, corn plants, represent also the tree of the life in the old beliefs. So it's really very, very strong plant. The only death of these plants is the ignorance, really. That's not the way they die unless it's not watered at all. The only bad things about this plant in New York City, too, it is when we get cold weather. Very sensitive to cold weather. Doesn't like cold at all.
And I see these are very tall. How tall do they actually grow?
Well, it's all different sizes. Originally, these plants is from South America. We bring the cane, which is like this one here, something like this here, just this part of it, and then we grow this here. We really regulated the heights on it. But you can get any size you want, again, according to your ceiling, to your apartment, to your office conditions. That's what you get in all the sizes, from 3-4 foot up to 8, 9, 10, even 20 footers.
Well, that's a really great plant. It's really beautiful, and we're going to look at a dumb cane.
Dumb cane, we got the dumb cane. I really don't know how the dumb cane came, but this is a very dumb. It's a very pretty, very smart plant. If you don't take care of it, it'll die. So it's a smart plant. Does an excellent job on indoor pollution. Really does. It's a good, strong plant.
This has such beautiful leaves on this plant. Again, how large would this plant grow?
They come really in all different sizes, and we don't really we don't call them dumb cane. I think it's something like old grandma gave the name. We call it tropic snow because the leaves on top is really nice. They've really got all different sizes, from like this small one, a 6-inch pot, up to 8, 10, 12, 14-inch pots. Can be 3, 4, 5, 6 footers too. I've seen them really big. Most popular things are 3 footers because it's really nice, like this floor standing thing. Yeah. Nice plant.
So we agree. We think we're going to officially change the name of this to Tropic Snow. So here we have a beautiful plant and with a beautiful name. It's known as the Peace Lily.
Peace lily is a very, very popular plant. Has a really beautiful white flowers on it. It is, again, very easy to maintain him. Likes a lot of water. Don't like to be dry. Doesn't need any sun at all. Cannot overwater. You cannot overwater. So don't be afraid. Give as much water as you want. Even let it sit in the water, it'll be fine. Very important, again, for all these tropical plants, we have to mention you must feed them once a month. We recommend any kind of plant food. Doesn't really matter, but it must be done. Any kind of plant food once a month, you got to do it. Read the instruction labels on any plant food you're using. It's great.
So here we have a member of the Ficus family, and it's, I believe, the only tree we can put indoors that will help clean the air. So which type of ficus is this?
Well, this is one of the most popular, really. Most popular, and there's really only one probably you can have in the house, is look like a real tree, called the Ficus Benjamini. People do tend to be afraid. Would tell me, oh, they're losing the leaves. No. That's how it is. The plants lose some leaves, get the new growth, and goes. But it's really the only tree you can have in the house. Likes a lot of water. Now, also another thing important for this ficus, what else you can have as a tree in the house, in the apartment, does the job. I mean, it's really excellent for indoor pollution. Amazing tree. And easy to maintain them. We highly recommend it to go in the clay pots. Has to be fertilized once a month. Very easy. Saying the ficus, yeah, it's very popular. Needs a lot of work. But what tree can I have? And nothing else. I mean, like really tree. I mean, it's a really great tree for indoor.
Absolutely. We can bring the woods indoors. We can have our own tree indoors. That's a really great thing.
Absolutely. Especially when we grow them like this with the braided trunks and we get all the interesting thing. We can shape them. It's really pretty. It looks very nice.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Combination between Ficus Benjamini, Areca Palms, and Rafis, it gets your place really paradise.
So here we see a beautiful array of different types of orchids. Are these all the same family of orchids?
Same family, Kevin. This is all Dendrobium orchids. All Dendrobium. Small leaves, come originally from Hawaii. Excellent plant, flowering all year round. The only thing with this plant really required a lot of maintenance, including pruning, trimming, and of course spraying and watering. That watering thing is always kind of get a problem. It's got to be perfect water temperature. It's got to be in a good light, no sun. No orchids love sun, but the watering conditions got to be really perfect all the time. I always recommend to my customer, don't water. Just every morning, you all like orchids. Orchids are a beautiful plant. You love the orchids. Mist them every day. Just mist the trunk. Don't even water, unless you're going to go away. If you really let it sit in the water for too long, it'll rot it. It's not good. The flower wouldn't open, the new growth wouldn't open. If you mist them every day, okay. Now they ask me, well, you're going to leave. Well, if you're going to leave, they'll get a little water. Well, find somebody to take care of them, because they're really beautiful. And they will give you flowers all year round. One spike dies, new one comes up. You do have to use the plant food once a month or twice a month, all depends how fast they're going to grow in your place and your conditions. It's really must.
Yeah, this is a beautiful array of plants here. I mean, what better than to have a beautiful plant in your home? It's cleaning the air, and it's really excellent. So we want to thank Mike for showing us a few of these plants here. Mike, how can people find you? How can they contact you?
Well, we're right here. We've been here for 27 years, 127 West 28th Street. Call us.
Do you deliver?
We deliver everywhere, anywhere, really do. Even anywhere in the state, anywhere over the state, the United States. We have our own nursery down in Florida, and we really ship these plants from Florida, which is our greenhouses out. This is our store in New York City, but we do ship anywhere in the United States. And we did ship a couple of times to Europe, too, with the containers load, of course, with the starting plants and,
So, excellent. So we're here, we have a beautiful jungle, and we want to thank Mike very much. So I'm Kevin Shuker, and goodbye from HealthVOX and the Bright Eyes World Health Network. Welcome back. When we look at all those beautiful plants, they look like they're not doing very much, just sitting around in pots. But in fact, they are incredibly vibrant chemical generators. So why don't we look at photosynthesis and how these plants can clean our air. So what is photosynthesis, apart from very difficult to say? Well, it's something very important we should all know about because it provides us with oxygen, the very air we breathe. Carbon dioxide enters the plant through a cell known as a stomata. This cell is controlled by two guard cells and it's light sensitive. Now, a majority of plants open their stomata during the daylight hours, but some plants, like an orchid, can actually open them during the night time. Carbon dioxide comes in through the leaves, through the stomata, and it combines with energy that's been stored in chlorophyll. Then water is pulled up through the root system and it's split into hydrogen and oxygen. Now the plant needs this hydrogen in order to manufacture the sugars that it needs for its own survival. The byproduct of this chemical reaction is oxygen. Plants can also pull in toxins through the stomata, and then with the process of transpiration can allow water to be released out into the atmosphere, maintaining humidity, and then these toxins are pulled down into the root area where microbes such as Pseudomonas can help biodegrade those toxins and actually turn them into food for the plant. So, look after your plants and they will look after you. For they are the lungs of this beautiful planet we live on. They evolved over millions of years. They developed a system that enabled them to survive. They were trapped under the canopy of the rainforest. Very little light would come down to them, so they had to trap as much of that energy in the chlorophyll, making them beautifully rich, lush, green plants. They then created a process called transpiration to allow them to move the stagnant air that's trapped under the canopy. And they would pull toxins out of that stagnant, trapped air and turn that into their own food. This is amazing, these plants. So we can use this natural evolutionary process to clean the air within our homes, within our workplaces, and also provide excellent oxygen, enriching oxygen into the atmosphere. So, we hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have any comments or you'd like to contact us, we would certainly like to hear from you. I'm Kevin Shuker, and this is HealthVOX. Here I am with Christopher from Live Live, the East Village, that supports the living food and raw food lifestyle. And today he's going to give us some great information about some products we can use to help cleansing and to help strengthen our body. So Christopher, I was reading earlier this year there was a study that came out of England saying how that certain vitamins or vitamins might not be an excellent choice. But I see here you have a lot of dietary supplements that are whole food supplements. Could you give our viewers a little bit of information of the difference between a commercial supplement or vitamin and a whole food supplement?
Yes, definitely. Ideally, we would have all our nutrients from food, from wholesome, unprocessed foods. In modern age, the commercial production of food is such that it destroys most of the nutrients. Also, the soil that food is grown in, even if it's organic food, and that's surprising, because of the soil, which has been depleted over the last 40, 50, 60 years, has been depleted of nutrients. Even organic produce doesn't have as much minerals as it used to, in the beginning of 20th century, let's say. So. Ideally, we would get everything from food, but I believe that some people in certain conditions would benefit from some supplementation. And there is a big difference between taking supplements that are synthetic, meaning man-made supplements made in a lab.